Hello and welcome to Behind the Rabbit Reviews. I'm Jason Godbey, and today we're going wide with the new Tamron 16 to 30mm f2.8 G2. Before we get into the review, if you like the video, please leave us a like and consider subscribing to the channel. You can support us on Patreon, where you'll find more BTRP Media Network content. Full disclosure, Tamron sent us this lens, but we don't get to keep it, and they do not get to preview this review. This video is not sponsored. This new version of the Tamron 16 to 30mm f2.8 was released in July of 2025 for Sony E-mount and Nikon Z-mount cameras at a retail price of $929 US. For this review, we used the E-mount version of the lens on our Sony a7 III. We didn't do extensive tests with it in terms of sharpness, color aberration, etc., but you can see the quality for yourself in the footage and in the images. This lens is small and lightweight. At 440 grams or 1 pound, it's not going to add a lot of weight to your camera. The barrel of the lens doesn't extend while zooming in, so it stays balanced and compact. This works really well for small mirrorless cameras. The zoom ring is closer to the body of the camera, and the focus ring is near the end of the barrel, which is the opposite of the 28 to 75mm. There's also a focus button and a USB port, which you can use to update the lens firmware. The filter thread is 67mm, which is the same as the 28 to 75mm, so I was able to use the same ND filter on both lenses. Tamron has a sleek and smooth aesthetic, and the build quality is solid. This lens feels really good in the hand, and I love the compact design. I felt comfortable shooting both photos and videos handheld, and both the focus and zoom rings were incredibly smooth. .16 to 30mm on a full-frame camera is still pretty wide, even at the longer end. For most zoom lenses in that range, the longer end will go to 35mm, and I have to say, I kinda miss the extra 5mm. I found myself shooting at 30mm, and I even would put the camera in APS-C mode just to get a little bit more length. So to get some more, versatility out of the lens, APS-C mode probably would help a lot for some of these, because it's so crazy wide. Like when we were shooting those buildings before, I was right up on them. We were like on the sidewalk and still able to get the whole front of the building with being zoomed all the way out at 16. So it's just crazy wide. So now we put it in APS-C mode, so we should see a cropped in version of it. So this is now 16, which is still pretty wide. It's probably more like a 24 on a full frame, but then when we zoom in, we get something closer to like a 45. I'm actually kind of digging this focal length. I think this lens is really good for crop sensor cameras, even though it's a full frame, but it's super wide on full frame. There is no stabilization in this lens, so that's why we got it on the monopod. Although at 16, you can crop in and stabilize in post, but it helps to have something to stabilize it. For a lens like this to be f2.8 all the way through is pretty incredible. I found the images to be quite sharp, and the focus response really fast. The focus breathing is minimal at both 16 and 30mm. Wide lenses can sometimes show bowing or distortion in the image, especially at the wide end, but even at 16mm, I didn't see much. So why use a wide-angle lens like this? Cinematographers like Emmanuel Lubezki love going wide. He used wide-angle lenses for films like Birdman, The Revenant, and Knight of Cups. These lenses give us the effect that we're close to the subject and in their world, and can be really effective cinematically. It's a much different feel than, say, a 50mm or a 35. We use wide-angle lenses for things like red carpet interviews. On a crop sensor camera, I'll typically use a 10 to 22 millimeter. I would definitely use this lens for that type of work. I think it's also a great lens for photography when you want to capture the subject and their whole environment. Going wide is an aesthetic choice. Some people are going to love this lens for shooting landscapes and the great outdoors, and others are going to want to use it for street photography.
You mind if I take a photo? Do you mind if I take a photo?
Yeah. Do it quickly.
So, should you buy this lens? To put it in perspective, the comparable lenses by Sony are the G Master 16-35 f2.8 and the Sony 16-25mm. The G Master will run you upwards of $2,500 and the Sony 16-25 is around $1,300. I've used G Master zooms before and they're great, especially for video, but they cost a king's ransom, and not everyone has that kind of money. So this lens might be a great alternative for less than half the price. The more I used the Tamron 16-30mm, the more I liked it. I love the build quality and the responsiveness of it. I could get close to people and buildings without having to back up. I also like this lens because it allows you to go wide without distortion. So you can get up close and personal and have a wide angle look, but without that fisheye effect. I think for the price, this is a quality lens for photographers and videographers alike, and it could be used for a variety of projects. But it's up to you to decide if you want to go wide. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for more content.
This is the BTRP Media Network.